Good evening, everybody. Welcome into Coach's Corner East. I'm your host, Mike Sparks, at Colonel Crawford Schools tonight, and so glad that you're aboard just a couple days before the Christmas break, and appreciate you coming on in. Show's brought to you in part by Steve and Chuck Keller at Keller Auto Parts, your Napa dealer, Uptown Galleon and Crestline. Dr. Thomas M. Britton at Clubview Vision Center next to the golf course in Bucyrus. Joe Kleiman, associate at the Galleon office of First Federal Bank of Ohio. Coming up a little later tonight, we'll have representation from the girls basketball team getting off to a really nice start here at Colonel Crawford. Prior to that, it'll be Leslie Rowlandson and the cheerleaders talking about how they're getting the Eagles Nest pumped up for games. And we're going to start the show with David Sheldon for the first time this year on the boys program, as they had a game last time we were here. Coach Sheldon, welcome to the show. And the way the weather is, and I talked about Bucyrus Golf Course, you wouldn't want to be out golfing now, would you? It's tough weather, but it is basketball season, and that's what we come to expect. And 17th year, it amazes me every time we meet for the first time on this show how many years you've been here. It's just crazy. Does it seem like that to you?
It's went quick, but I'm getting old. And that's what it means. I mean, I'm the veteran in Crawford County, and it's been a good place for me for 17 years. And the neat thing now is the young men around this table and the kids in my locker room I've seen since kindergarten. So it's nice to see them grow up into the men that they become by the time they're seniors and walk away. So it's been a great ride. We've had some great players, and it's another great group that we have this year.
Yeah, it's a great point. I never really thought of it that way, that you saw them come up through the mini ranks and then into junior high and now in your program. And that says something, because you've not only seen them develop as basketball players, but as young people, and you know their personalities, you know how to motivate, how to coach them, and that can be sometimes the only edge that you need, and that's a really, really good thing. 26-1 as we look at last year overall, 14-0 in the N10, district champ, regional runner-up, and lost to Ottawa Glandorf, a very talented team, of course, in the regional final, 51-44, and such a great season. And as you kind of reflect that, each year's unique and different, because you have some seniors that have gone through it, and you had such a great group of seniors last year. But when you think about that season as you were getting ready to head into this season, what were maybe some of the kind of thoughts that came through your mind that you shared with your assistant coaches and the players that are coming back for this year?
We knew this was going to be a year of growth. We weren't going to be playing our best basketball beginning of December. You only have one starter back in Braxton Baker. And then you had a lot of guys that they're in totally different roles than they were last year. And we're big on role development in our program. It's been successful. So, when you lose 2 All-Ohioans and 4 starters, it's going to be a challenge. And then we get a late start because of the great football run, so you don't get much practice time, and you go play games. So it's been a work in progress, and it still is a work in progress. Our goal is to be playing our best basketball at the end of February when we head into tournaments. But number one is a league championship, and we've got one loss in the league, but I think this league has more parity than I've ever seen, Mike. Mm-hmm. You look at top to bottom, it's not that unbelievable team like you've had over the years. The parity 1 through 6 especially is very good.
You talk about the football program, and all these young men around the table had that success and realized that success during the regular season and into the postseason tournament. And it does present some challenges because, as you know, football conditioning is a lot different than basketball conditioning. They're trying to heal wounds that they worked 13, 14 weeks through in football. Then they got to run up and down the court. And then how do you find people to even scrimmage that are already getting into their season?
Yeah, it's a challenge, but we were able to get a scrimmage or 2 under our belt. And what you did is I called teams that got as far as us in football. We actually a year-old league, Downton, we scrimmaged because they had gotten beat the same night that we did. So we were able to get a couple scrimmages. And the great thing, our kids, is they're workers. It was a great ride in football. And I always say I love my guys in football because then it translates here. They're winners.
Yeah.
And that goes in small schools from one sport to the next sport to the next sport. They're competing on a nightly basis.
Yeah.
But the conditioning is the biggest thing. It's just totally different. And we try to do things, it's not like we do sprints, getting online, but we try to do a lot of things with the ball up and down, trying to get them into shape. But the first week was a little rough. But now I feel like we got our legs under us, and, there's no excuses now as you get deep into December.
No question. You do return 5 letter winners. Senior Braxton Baker, 12.1 points per game last year. Senior Jacob Matty, a little over 3 points per game. Senior Derek Horsley, a little over 3 points a game. And then Ethan Holt and junior Trevor Vogt. But you have some other key players. Senior Gabe Thew, Ryan McMichael, Tyler Smith, Lane Reich as juniors, and Lucas Foy, Caden Bruner as sophomores. Just, again, a different group. What would you say early on that you've seen that is kind of the makeup of this group and what you've liked so far out of this group?
I think they've all bought into what we need to do to be successful. The one thing is we got to make some more shots. I'll be honest. I mean, we haven't shot it well at times, and we've got to make some more shots. But they understand where the ball needs to go. And defensively, we're just challenging them every night. That's been our bread and butter every year. Is we want to guard people, and we're a little late on a couple things that we're a work in progress defensively. But I think the main thing is everybody knows their role, and Braxton's got a lot of shots for us, and he's a very good player. And other guys are stepping up around him, what they need to do. And we want kids to play to their strengths. Everybody has different strengths, and that's the big thing. And this group is buying into that. We're not real deep. I'll be honest. We're not real deep this year, so we're playing a lot of guys, a lot of minutes in that. And, that's just every year's a different thing. I think the neat thing about high school coaching is every year you have to adjust if you want to be successful, because you can't run the same stuff every year because you don't have the same personnel. It's not like college guys where I'm going to go out and hey, we're going to be the run and shoot, or we're going to be a pound team. I'm dealt with the cards we're dealt. So we have to adjust. This team is not the same as last year's team. We're playing a different style because you have to play to your strengths.
It's almost like you read my mind, because I was kind of going down that rabbit hole a little bit in that, if you have a lot of bigs, then you do one thing, but if you're really guard-oriented, you have to do something else. And you kind of answered the question I was going to ask, is how much have you had to adjust, both on the offensive end and the defensive end, to your personnel that you have?
Offensively, last year we were mainly a motion offense, because of student balancing, being able to put it on the floor, just create for people. This year we're more sets. We're more of a set offense and running where do we want to get the ball, different things like that. We'll run some motion, but we've had to adjust that because of the personnel we have. Defensively, we're man-to-man. I mean, that's what we do. We rely on. We're always big about physicalness. These guys work their tails off in the weight room, and that translates into defensively. So, we're 90% man-to-man, and that's just always been the staple of our program.
Coming into this season, or at some point even into this season, you had a 58-game regular season winning streak. That has been snapped by Carey last Friday night. And I know coaches will always give credit to the kids first, and it should be, because they're the ones they're shooting, they're the ones that are defending. But you got to give some credit to you and your coaches as well to have a streak that I think was the 7th longest in the state or something like that. I can't remember exactly how long that was, but to go that long without a regular season loss is huge, and a testament again to the work ethic, to the buy-in and all that. But you also talk about, and we all know records come to an end, right? They always do. And you talk about dealing with adversity and how important that is, not only in athletics, but in life, in preparation for life, which all these young men are likely not going to play, may at the next level, but certainly probably not at the pro level, but they're going to have to deal with adversity in life. So even though you didn't enjoy losing to Carey and subsequently to Crestview last night, 2 out of the last 3 games, talk about the lesson, in your opinion as a coach, that can come from that adversity.
First I'll talk about the streak. I didn't talk about it all the last 3 years. It was what's the next game. But I did some other media interviews, and looking back, it's amazing what that group did. To go 3 seasons, 58 games in a row is amazing, because, we played the Lexingtons, the Waverleys, who was in the state tournament last year. We played great teams, the Upper Sandusky's, the Careys, for 3 years. And what those groups did is amazing, to not, come up and just fall out on one day. When you're playing so many more games. Basketball, you play 2-3 games a week. It's not like one game a week like football. And it's amazing what they did. It's the 9th best ever in the state of Ohio.
Okay.
And they'll be in the record books, those groups that played those 3 years. But now looking at what's happened, we faced adversity with Carey. I mean, we were right there. It's a 3 minutes ago, it's a tie game. and we just didn't finish. But they reacted the next night. We came back and got a really good road win at Seneca East, who was 5-1 at the time. Then, last night we go on the road and we drop one to Crestview, have a lead late, and those are some of the growing pains when you only got one starter back from last year.
Sure.
They haven't been through the wars, and that's what we got to get over. Last night we played an undefeated Crestview team who's really good. But those are the games to get ready for a district tournament. We've been fortunate to get to 11 straight district tournaments over the last 11 years. And those are the games. Yeah, we lost, but now what do we have to get over that hump? Because to get to a district tournament, you're going to have to play teams like Crestview.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
And the adversity, Mike, I think that's the bigger picture of why I'm in coaching. It's awesome now. 17 years later, I go to my guys' weddings that played for me. I've had 2 guys call me in the last few months, Coach, I'm going through a divorce. I need your help. These are guys are all going to face adversity. They think they're invisible as kids, but you're going to face adversity. I have in life. You have. We all do. And I can't tell you what life's going to bring. And that's what high school sports are.
No question.
We got knocked on our butt by Cary. Are we going to get up the next day and fight or what? Now we got to learn from Crestview, because now Friday night we got a really, really good Winford Royals team we have to go to. So those are the great lessons that are bigger than the wins and losses. How are you going to react? Are you going to point fingers? Or are we going to get together as a group and, hey, we got to get through this?
Yeah, great point. And I repeat it to so many people that, it is athletics, any extracurricular, it's an extension of the classroom. And you're right, you're preparing these young people for what they, not if they face that, it's when they face that. Really good interaction. I really appreciate that. We're going to take a break, talk to the kids around the table here. We're brought to you in part by the Burkhart family at the Burkhart Farm Center, your Case IH dealer straight west of Gallion on the Manette New Winchester Road. Mike Kleinite at Ag Credit Residential Lending, Bucyrus, Mount Gilead, and Marion. Sweet Baby Ray Jones and Kendra Weaver at Ohio Door and Sash, 120 South Street in Gallion. And Mark Osborne at E-Crane International, Route 598, the north edge of Gallion. Brady Hill, sophomores up first. It's good to see you, and I appreciate you coming out tonight. No school today, but you got your practice time in earlier today, right?
Yep.
And now you have to come back to school, and you're probably thinking, I don't want to come back. But are you playing some JV and varsity, or just varsity only?
I'm mostly JV.
Mostly JV, okay. And what is your standard position that you're asked to be in?
I'm a guard.
You're a guard.
They expect me to step up and play defense and rebound and be a strong player and take good shots and not turn the ball over.
Are you asked to score a lot, or?
No, I'm more of a role player, and I look in for the big guys, Payne Gray, Connor McMichael soon to be, Lucas Foy, people like those, so we can just score more.
Okay, all right. For those that may not know, your dad's the assistant varsity coach.
Yeah.
And I think it's a blessing, certainly to coach your own child. May not always feel that way from a kid's standpoint, but how is that? Do you talk about specifics at home, or is it kind of like, hey, we're only doing this during practice or games, we're kind of taking hands off and just being a family when we're home?
No, we talk about the games, and we talk about all that stuff, and he talks about how he wants me to improve, and we go out and shoot, and we work together, and he helps me improve my shot, be stronger with the ball. He wants me to help lift weights and get stronger outside the gym, and he just pushes me to be a better person.
All right. As I mentioned, you were all for part of the football program. You're starting to, Coach talked about getting the legs under you now. You're starting to feel a little more comfortable, more basketball prepped and things along that lines? Yeah. Okay.
Because we run more after practices sometimes. It just really helps us because Braxton Baker leads us, and he just pushes us to be better. So.
Yeah, because it's a short burst in football, and then you got continuous running in basketball. Okay, we're just a couple days away from Christmas. So, what would be your number one? Got to have dessert on Christmas.
Dessert.
Got to have dessert. Certain dessert. Yeah, number one.
Apple pie.
Apple pie. Okay, that's going to be your Christmas wish. All right,
Yep.
Very good. Well, continued success. Thanks for coming out. I appreciate it. Ethan Holt's a senior. It's good to have you here. And Ethan, coming back as a letter winner. And what's your role been so far this year?
I'm a wing. I'm more of a defender and rebounder. And, I just look to play off of our 2 best players, Jake and Braxton. And they're good passers, so they find me on cuts and stuff. And just look to rebound and play defense.
So, Coach talked about this man defense, high-pressure defense. I've talked to other coaches and players from other schools about the physical side. It just seems to me like the game has gotten more physical. It seems to me the officials are allowing more hand checking, more in your face. Have you noticed that? And B, how much did the physicality of football help you in that role as a defender?
Yeah, I think basketball's definitely become more of a physical sport. Football, I would say, definitely helps. This year was my first year going out for football, and
Good.
I needed to get tougher. So,
Yeah.
we're a physical team, and I think that's good for us that it's got more physical as a sport because it helps us out.
You were part of the long time of that 58-game winning streak. You were part of those teams and coming through that. Talk a little bit about the disappointment last Friday, but also how you and your teammates really rebounded from that mentally.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about it. We just, after the game, we just said we got to get to the next game just like any other game. You know, Seneca was a really good team, and we knew we couldn't hang our heads because we needed to go and match Seneca's intensity because they got quite a few good players.
And let's face it, everybody in the league's looking right at CC as wanting to knock them off, and that's a great place to be, but that comes with a lot of pressure as well. Go-to Christmas movie for Ethan Holt. Favorite Christmas movie, yeah.
Wow. Probably Elf.
Oh, good choice, yeah. You're going to be making spaghetti with syrup on Sunday?
Probably.
No. All right, real good. Well, congratulations, and thanks for coming out. I appreciate it. Connor McMichael, a freshman, is with us, and more of a JV player, or you get some time at varsity?
More of a JV player.
JV player, okay. I always like to ask this question to freshmen coming up from the junior high level, and let's face it, the reason your varsity and JV have been so good is because the foundation and the coaches and the things that are going on at the junior high level, winning N10 championships there. But when you get into the high school, it's a different speed. How have you adjusted to that speed of playing? Even JV is a lot quicker than junior high. How have you adjusted to that, and do you think you feel like I could step on the varsity court and be ready to play?
So I've broken my collarbone, and today was my first practice back.
Is that right? Okay. Well, welcome back. So you really haven't even got on to play yet?
Not
okay.
yet, no.
So Friday would be you're
Friday.
cleared to go. That would be your first shot. Didn't even play last night or anything. Okay. All right. So you haven't even found that out. What will be your role when you step on the court? Hopefully, Friday against Winford.
I would say my role would be more of a defensive player, and I use my physicality from football to get to the paint, get to the rim, find open people, get open shots.
Talk about how you feel just the experience that you went through as a freshman on the football field can translate into this winning culture that's already here for basketball.
My dedication, because from the past football years, we've been really good. So, and the basketball also, so I'm trying to bring on the legacy from football to basketball pretty much.
What's it like playing with your brother?
It's
That's a loaded question, I know.
it's good. One, because I can have a ride,
Yeah.
and two, because I think I can try to hype him up because I know him. I know what he's able to do.
Knows what buttons to push. You know how to motivate him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Let's see. Favorite Christmas song or carol? And I'm just going to prime the pump. The Galleon cheerleaders gave me some Jordan or Justin Bieber. No, what's his name? Bieber. What's Bieber's first name?
Justin.
Yeah, mistletoe song. So I don't think I'm going to hear that from you. But what?
I gotta say, Silent Night.
Silent Night. Okay, good choice. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming. And good luck when you finally do step on the
Thank you,
court.
sir.
I appreciate it. And older brother Ryan McMichael Jr., thanks for coming out. I appreciate that. And your role on the team position and like 1 through 5, what are you expected to play?
Yeah, I play the 4 mostly.
4, okay.
Yeah, grab rebounds, defend my position.
Body, box out,
Yeah.
things along that
Yeah.
line. Again, using what you learned in football. What position do you play in football?
I'm a safety and a tight end.
Okay, but still, physical at that end. I mean, you're that last line of defense, and you got to be physical on receivers and things like that. Have you found, is it a lot upper body, or is it more footwork and positioning from a box-out standpoint, in your opinion?
It doesn't really matter at all, I feel, about upper. As long as you get your lower half into the other guy, it don't matter how big they are. You just got to get your body into theirs.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk a little bit about the Northern 10. Coach said there's a lot of parity, and the likelihood that anybody's going to run the board and win every game is probably not likely. You look at Upper Sandusky, who's been at the top with you and Carey the last few years, and I don't think they've won a game yet. Winford, who's kind of been down at the, they won one? Yeah, once. Okay, thanks for the correction. Winford, who's kind of been down, is now starting to move up. Do you like that it's not always the same teams there? And also the fact that you're going to get everybody's best game every time you go out on the court?
Yeah, it actually is really enjoyable not going out and beating up on a bum every night. Like, every game, you got to go out there. We got to prepare as if, like, we're going to war every night, and that's real fun, going out into every gym knowing that the hostility, because obviously they want to beat Colonel Crawford, it's really fun.
Yeah, and you're going to get your chance again, I guess, hopefully Friday. It's a big event that we'll talk about in a little bit. We're crossing our fingers that the weather will hold out, but regardless, you got a lot of basketball to play, and I know the coaches will have you prepared and ready to go, and should be a really outstanding season over at Colonel Crawford. Number one, I asked Mr. Hill here about dessert. Number one, what's got to be on your Christmas table for your meal? I mean, the number one main course.
Meal?
Yeah, for you.
Probably ham. Big ham guy.
You're a big ham
Yeah.
guy. Okay, well, I hope you get your Christmas ham. Guys, thanks so much for coming out. Take another break. We'll finish up with Coach here. Show's brought to you in part by the Burkhart family at the Burkhart Farm Center, your Case IH dealer straight west of Gallion on the Manette New Winchester Road. Mike Kleinite at Ag Credit Residential Lending, Bucyrus, Mount Gilead, and Marion. Sweet Baby Ray Jones, Kendra Weaver at Ohio Door and Sash, 120 South Street in Gallion. Mark Osborne, E. Crane International, Route 598 on the north edge of Gallion, as well as Lee Plymouth, Brad Seibert, the Plymouth Insurance Group, Gallion and Bucyrus. North Central State College, Mansfield, Crawford Success Center, North Walnut Street, across from the courthouse in Bucyrus. Phil and Sue Schreck at Phil's Deli, just east of the Pizza Hut at the bridge in Gallion, and John Rolls at John's Auto Repair Specialist, 800 Scott Street in Crestline. Coach David Sheldon, JVs, you were 5-2 now and 3-1 in the N10. JV's going into last night 5-1 overall, 3-1 in the N10. How'd they do last night?
Win, they're 6-1.
Good, very good to hear. Braxton Baker going into last night, leading the N10 and scoring 24.5 points per game, and tops in free throw percentage, 95.2. He's 20-21 again prior to last night. Kid's a gym rat, isn't he?
Yeah, he lives it. I mean, that's what he does. He plays it year round, and we've been blessed to have some of those over the years. You look, last year, Mason Studer, back to Jordan Fenner, the Connor McCrarys. I mean, we've been blessed to have guys, and he's the next one. There's nobody who spends more time in the gym than Braxton.
And Jacob Matty, second in the N10 in rebounding at almost 10 rebounds a game, and so he's getting that positioning and doing what you're asking him to do.
Yeah, he's a good post player, and everybody is doing it. I mean, Ryan's had great games. Ethan last night had probably his best game of the year at Crestview. And I think guys are getting more comfortable. Like I said, it's a totally different when you have one guy that's a starter back and feeling your way through, right now the first 7 games. So I feel like everybody's doing a great job. It's just not Braxton. It's not just Jacob. At Seneca East, Trevor Vogt had a big second half. We've had different guys step up, and that's got to continue.
So you kind of opened the door for me to ask my next question, because I didn't really think about it this way. But as a veteran coach, especially 17 years here, do you like that challenge of molding a group that doesn't have a lot of guys back, or would you rather have, these guys have been around a while, and a whole bunch of returners from each class every year?
I like every year is a challenge. It doesn't matter what the group is, whether you have everybody back or nobody back. With this group, it's been fun molding and seeing them buy into what needs to be done. And everybody's taken that, to heart, and it's been successful. Our 2 losses, you forget, they're both undefeated teams.
Yeah,
it's
point.
not like Carey's undefeated, beat a really good Willard team bad last night, and Crestview's undefeated. So, we've played great teams, and this team I think they're hungry, but it's like you hit early, Mike. Everywhere we go right now, like last night, Zach Holden said after the game, says, you thought they won the championship the way they celebrated. And these guys don't understand. The guys before them, and when it says Colonel Crawford, everywhere we go, Mike Krzyzewski once said, we go on the road every time if somebody beats us, they charge you for it. That's a compliment because it doesn't happen very often.
Sure.
And there's a lot of, we've got to come to go every night. In those 2 losses, we got off the slow starts in the first quarter. And we've got to do a better job of getting ready right out of the gate because we're going to get everybody's best shot. And that, like you said, I want to be the 100. That's a good thing to have. I'd rather be there than at the bottom of the barrel. But these guys gotta, we gotta get some of that going, the mental approach, starting off games, moving forward.
They say it's lonely at the top because there's so many down at the bottom. It is a good place to be, no question about it. We talked off air and certainly going to talk on air now. A great potential opportunity coming up Friday, and say potential, of course, with the impending weather. We don't know what's going to happen, but a really neat event. You have a scheduled game at Winford on Friday, a team that has played much better under Coach Mike Smith in his second year. A lot of those young players are really starting to find their way. And your wife, Amy Taylor Sheldon, on the girls program, they don't have a JV, so you did a combination boys-girls doing a JV at, I think, 4:30? Girls at 6, and then the varsity at 7:30 in the old Donenworth Gymnasium, where you spent a majority of your childhood. And I think it is a great idea between the two schools, kind of that nostalgic, right before Christmas, a lot of people home. We just got to cross our fingers that the weather's going to hold out, but what a neat idea.
It's a great idea. Mike Smith called me last spring about, hey, we want to do a throwback game, and I grew up in that gym. I love that gym. I spent hours and hours and days and years in that gym with my father as a coach, and had some great. And the neat thing now is I remember watching Lee Holt play in that gym. I played against Casey McMichael. These guys' fathers. That means I'm getting old. When I played against their dads, and now I'm coaching their kids. But there's been some great battles, and I don't call it Donenworth. That's a House of Thrills. That's the name that my father named that years ago. And even at Crawford, we've had great games. With back to the Austin Smith years. The first time we beat them back in '09. After they had the run of owning people forever, Winford did, and now it's sort of turned the table. But it'll be a great atmosphere. Hopefully it can happen. It all depends on Mother Nature. But this Winford team's very good. And today's the first day we looked at them starting to get ready, and it's a good basketball team. They've got very explosive offense, and we have got to have good preparation getting ready for this team because it's as good a team as we've played against in a long time. And they're playing with a lot of confidence, and there'll be a lot of energy. I mean, if we play Friday night, it'll be sold out standing room only. Yeah. I'm telling you, because everybody's going to be home for Christmas. You pack them in. The atmosphere, it's louder than the new gym, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, right.
It's a great atmosphere from growing up in that place. So, I don't think these kids understand the history and the tradition of playing in that gym back in the day. That their dads I got to coach in and playing, and it'll be a special night for sure.
Then after the holidays, next Tuesday, you head up to Clyde, a team that is winless, but it's the SBC, and that's still good basketball. And then to kind of round out the year in the first half of the rotation, you have Mohawk coming in next Friday, a team that's very, very talented. Paul Dunn's got those kids playing really well. And then Saturday, the 7th, Upper Sandusky, who haven't shown it necessarily in the win column, but it's still Coach Winslow, it's still Upper Sandusky. Those have always been great battles, and that completes the first round already. It's hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. It goes fast. It's like I tell these seniors, don't take it for granted, because before you know it, it's over. It's like last night, Jordan Fenner's in the stand, Mason Studer, guys that wore this, and, that Mason stopped by our practice today, and it's like, man, give me one more. They don't understand when you're going through the grind. They're like, oh, we got to go to practice. You got to take advantage of every day and enjoy this experience, because the blink of the eye, it's over. We only have one senior here tonight in Ethan, but it goes so quick, and you never get a chance to do it again. So we got to make sure we're making the most of every day and keep getting better, and hopefully that translates to W's.
Yeah, no question. And then just kind of really quick before we wrap up here, you got really competitive on your non-league. Already played Crestline and Crestview and Kenton. But you still have a road game at Lucas, tough place to play. Coach Eisman is loaded again. Really physical players, a lot of the same situation, a lot of football players at a small school like that. You got Fredericktown coming here, and then you got Ontario coming here, who's, MOAC is really great basketball as well. So you're doing that again to prepare these kids to get ready for February and hopefully beyond into March basketball, aren't you?
That's exactly right. We picked up Lucas. We're Division IV this year.
That's right.
Lucas on paper is probably one of the best Division IV teams in our district. The Ontario's, Clyde's D2, Fredericktown's one of the best teams in the KMAC Division III. And, I think that's why we've been successful in tournaments, because you play in games like last night against Crestview. And the thing is, if you lose, you got to learn and make the most and not have that happen again the next time it comes around. So those prepare us for end of February, March, when we want to make tournament runs.
Very good. Guys, thanks for coming out. I appreciate it on a non-school day. And I wish you the best of success the rest of the year. I really hope Friday can be a reality for you, and that can happen. You're going to end up playing them anyways twice, but hopefully that event can take place. And Coach, it's great to see you again. I look forward to talking to you a couple more times yet this season. Best of luck to you and all of you. Enjoy your holidays. Have fun. I hope you get your apple pie. I hope you get your ham and all that fun stuff. Watch Elf 100 times and all that good stuff. So appreciate you coming out. We'll take a break, and we'll come back with the cheerleading group at Colonel Crawford right after this timeout.